Hey you guys, how are you guys doing? Let me know in the comments. Today what we're going to be doing is slowly easing into Visual Basic and getting to know the environment. So go ahead and open up your Visual Basic uh, program. So what you're going to first off want to do is, if you exit out of the start page, then that's no problem. But you're going to want to create a new project. You can either click that here, or you can go into File and then New Project. And then you're going to want to make sure you're under Visual Basic, so make sure you click that. You're going to double click Windows Form Application. We're not going to worry about changing the name or anything, we're just going to get onto that later on. As I said, if you're new, I'm going to slowly ease you guys into this. If you guys are more advanced users, you may want to move more out into the course. Now, let's just go ahead and go over a few things. This is the first page, or first page of your program. It's going to be called Form 1 by default, and then if you add any more, it's going to be Form 2, Form 3, and so on. Just bear with me if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but as we advance on, you will understand. This is your toolbox. This is where all your controls and objects that you can put into your application are located. So let's perhaps say if you want a button, you can add a button. Now let's say if you want to add a text box. What a text box is, it allows you to input text inside the program. You can add a text box. And you can make these all fancy and design them and all sorts of stuff. And we'll get into that later on. But let's say if you want to create a login, here you go. You have your button, you have your username field, your password field, and then we have our button which we would put in the function. So let's go ahead and go off into renaming this button. Right here in this properties, this is your properties where whenever you click an object, inside of this, you're going to have your properties, and you can basically input all sorts of information into that object. So let's go ahead and start with the button. As we can see, it says button 1, and that says button 1 right there. We can kind of guess that this controls that environment right there. So we know if we change this into log in, it's going to change that to log in. Just pretty basic stuff right there, you guys. And then we can do all sorts of stuff now. We can allow a drop. We're not going to get into that. We're just going to get more into common stuff. We can do anchoring, which means when I expand this, it's not going to go with the form. Let's say if I want to anchor it right and bottom, that's going to be a little bit different. So if you find anchoring, sorry, I'm on Form 1. So if I go down to anchor and I do it from the bottom and the right, it'll actually move when the form is expanded, as we can see there. Just align it back up there, but that's not what we're probably ever going to want for a button, especially at this level. So you have your anchoring, not a big deal right now to know about that. We have background colors. We can change that to whatever we want: black, red, maroon, whatever floats your goat. Whatever floats your goat. You can even input a background image on that. And okay, there we go. Back to normal. We can make a certain cursor over it. We can have a no button. And then we can make it flat. And we can change the fore color to whatever we want. We have a lot of properties here at our hands. We can make it so it's not visible. We can make it so it is visible. We can make it so it's read only. Like I said, tons of options here, you guys. So let's go ahead and debug this. And so I did set a couple properties on this, so we'll be able to look at that. So go ahead and hit start. This is your debug button. This is what's going to actually run the program. So when you hit start, it's going to pop up the application. When you hover over it, I have the X over it. As you remember, I put that property down, and it is a flat button. I can type here, and I can type there. Pretty self-explanatory. We can create the start position for the Form 1. I did click the Form 1. So we can go ahead and hit center screen. We can make, if you double click an object, it's going to go into this tab. Basically what this allows you to do is put in controls, I guess, into your application. This is where you're actually going to be programming. So that's all for this video. I just wanted to show you what the toolbox was and where the properties were, because those are the two main things we're going to be dealing with, and then along with the coding itself. So that's all for this video. See you guys in the next tutorial.